Hey, everybody, and welcome to week 6 of In the Studio with Blake Carpenter. And you should by now know that that is me. All right, this week we are on to mixing. And as I had said before, I am moving on to another DAW. I am using Harrison Console's Mixbus 32C. I am still learning it at the same time as I do this, so bear with me if things don't look quite right. But it's really, really fun to use, especially if you've worked on consoles, because now you have a console in the box. And if you have a controller set up, you can program it and set it up to use knobs. It's super fast, super quick. I mean, and you'll see how quickly the process can go once we get into this. All right, in this first video, I am going to do a quick mix of my drums. We're going to bring those up to level, and well, let's just go. Okay, so here we are, ready to mix. You are in the studio with Blake Carpenter. That's me. All right, so as you can see, I am not using Logic for my mix. I am using Mixbus 32C. Yes, that's right. Because I want to mix on a console. All right, so I brought everything in. I did some pre-setup and got levels, so everything, each instrument is currently running each separate instrument, and the drums as a whole are an instrument. So everything's running about minus 14 on the K meter. Yes, we're going to use this K meter a lot in this. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start setting up a rough, actually, first thing I'm going to do is, well, let's loop it and you can see what's going on here. And you can get a kind of a sound on what I've got going with everything kind of at a level. All right, so here's this. All right, and yes, I'm still on the scratch vocals. I want to get a decent mix going, close to a mix going, and then I'll export that, pull that into Logic, and redo vocals. I finally got a battery for my 1977 TIAC EM80. It's technically a shotgun mic. However, it was used a lot on vocals in the late 70s and early 80s. I'm going to have fun with that. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get this K meter and get everything dropped down to about minus 20. So when I mix, I can start bringing things up to get everything, get the mix itself back to minus 14. I want it minus 14 going out for a master, which I'm going to do here too, and also in this. Anyway, so let's get that going first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you I have some VCAs set up. Now these VCAs are great. They can control everything. I need to actually drop all the slaves on that, get that back up there, and come and select all my tracks. So this is how you set up a VCA in Mixbus 32C. I'm going to select all my tracks. Actually, just select it all except for the VCAs. I'll run through everything here in a bit, but once I've got that set up, this is for all tracks. Right click, assign selected channels. So now what I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm going to get this dropped down to about there, which would be about minus 20. So the meter is hitting right there. All right. Oh, you couldn't necessarily see all of that. My head's in the way. Sorry about that, folks. Here, why don't I do this? I'm gonna put myself away for a little while. All right, there we go. Now you can see the whole screen. All right, so this is mix bus, and I'm gonna hide the VCA. Nope, I'm gonna leave the VCAs. I'm gonna start my loop. I'm gonna wait for a second until it gets to a slightly louder. Now this is probably as loud as it's gonna get here. All right, now I'm gonna bring this down.
What has happened? Where the hell am I now? Am I crazy? Have I traveled back?
All right, so we're bouncing in the middle there. All right, so I'm gonna start there. So now I have a clean slate for mixing. And I have headroom. Okay, yes, I could have done that with my trims, but I kind of sort of did a pre-mix with my trims. Like I said, I got each separate instrument to -14. And that'll be that. But this is perfectly fine. I have lots of room here to work. Okay, everything's just about -6 on there, which is a good starting point to go up or down. All right, so to do that, let me show you a little bit about Mixbus 32C here. These are my groups. If I turn them on, all faders will move. What are we at? -7.4. All right, so see, if I turn it on, all those faders will move. And yes. And it'll be the same with all these other tracks. This is short right now because I was doing some messing around before, but this would be stretched out for all my pads and synths. All right, and now I want to show you here. These are my buses. Buses I have set up. I've got my drums. I've got bass, I've got rhythm guitar, I've got the leads, which is the guitar lead and the synth lead together. Okay, this is the main synth, that one. This is all my pads and synths, lead vocals and backing vocals, which I might combine those two because I think I might want to open something up to split up some pads and synths, or split up my ARP. That's just for stemming later, maybe. And then what I have over here is like what I would use for my side chaining and or parallel work. And except for this verb right here is actually going to be used for my drums. Because what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use side chaining per se for certain instruments, such as my vocals. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my effects on here. We're going to try that. If worst case scenario, if it doesn't come out right, you can see over here I've got reverb buses that I can send anything to. All right, yeah, that's what I've got. I've got a plate set up there and a plate set up there. That's for the backing and that's for the snare, but I can rename these at any time. But anyway, so that's what we've got going there. I'm gonna just start messing around and do a small mix here, and let's see what we can get going. I'm gonna just work on this loop because other than the solos, it features mostly everything. All right, so let's get going. I'm gonna do some panning first. Listener's point of view. Toms will go a little off.
What has happened? Where the hell am I now? Am I crazy? Have I traveled back in time?
And I kind of forget that I have my controller set up down here. Oh, you can't see that. Here, let me show you real quick. My controller right here. This guy right here is set up and I can press certain buttons and make it use whatever. You guys know what that stuff is. Alright, back in here. Doing my panning. I'm going to bump the snare off just a little bit too.
Happiness just fills the air. Everyone is so alive, alive. I think it must be 1985.
And the hat off just a little more, 'cause that's kind of how it works. I'm going to center, keep cat claps centered. Alright, so let's get working on this. Now you see here I've got a whole EQ, 4-band EQ. It's wonderful. The way it's set up is a little odd. It's just like the Harrison consoles. So the bottom one here actually only goes to the bottom one, which is not technically a low. It actually only goes as low as 400. Then the second one actually goes down to 200. Okay, so that's the one that we'll technically use for drums, kicks, and bass. I'm gonna sit forward.
Happiness just fills the air. Everyone is so alive, alive. I think it must be 19.
Let's solo that. So I might actually want to add another kick in here to give me a little more meat, because this is a very airy kick to begin with. It's the Simmons kick. Okay, but I kind of like that. Alright, let's compress it a little bit. Okay, Mixbus 32C's compressor has 3 different options. You've got a leveler, which will basically, you can crush the heck out of it when you're using the leveler, and it'll kind of even things out. Then it's got a compressor mode and a limiter mode. All right, but we're gonna go with the leveler on this. I'm gonna crush it, like really crush it. Bring the gain up. All right, let's unmute that. All right, so you can tell the snares really need to come up now. And I might go with the trims on these first, but let's see if we can't EQ them in. I'm gonna solo just the drums. Oh, they were louder for a reason because I also have them going out to a drum side, so let's solo that. Okay. All right. Let's do something with the hats here. All right, I'm going to change my loop to a section where the toms are. Now, I could do this another way, but I'm going to just do it this way. Let's get these toms mixing. Now, why are you being like that? All right, well, now the controller's being silly. Let's see, did that fix the issue? Yes, excellent. Okay, come on. Just a little more around there. All right, next track. And next drum. Next drum. I'm really just giving these all a rise around 9-ish. I like how they're sounding that way. I do. What do you all think? Leave a message in the comments. Sorry, if you're not watching, you just watch the EQs on the highlighted track. I'm using my controller for this. All right, I've got that up. Let's do the claps. Do some EQing on the claps. Claps really should just have a bunch of throw some air, a little bit of a mid. No, I'm not rolling anything off down here. I know, I'm a weirdo. Okay, I like how those are sounding at the moment. Might bring them down a little bit. All right. Now, let's work on some sends, shall we? Okay, the snare is already going to, oh, it's already going out to everything. I didn't turn those off, I guess. You want to hear what that sounds like. Turn on my reverb. Ready? That's big and heavy in a room, isn't it? All right, here. This is what it's going to sound like with the drums. That is it. Okay, now in Mixbus 32C on your bus channels, you have these right here. This is tape saturation. This is for tape saturation. And here, listen to this. Crank it all the way up. Doesn't do a whole lot. Well, yeah, no, it does actually. That's a little too much, but all right. So we'll give this a little bit of satch. A little bit goes a long way. Side still needs some as well. I'm gonna leave the verb in the center. All right. Now let's compress some drums. Do the side compression, and here's I'm gonna go with a full-on compressor. Crush it. It's a little too much. I don't like it. So bring it up. You'll notice I did put compression on the snare, but I did not put any compression on the. I put it on the kick, but not on the snares. I don't think the snares need it yet. When we get through the song, if there's anything that stands out, I might add compression to the snares. But I only added it to the kick to give it a little more pop because. The snare, the kick has, like I said, I might go back and add a regular kick to it to give it a little more body. All right, so that's the drums. In the next video, we will move on and add the bass. See you then.